Hey everyone, it's the GM Admiral here for another episode of Rip 'em. I've recently gotten into, or I'm starting to get into the Star Trek customizable card game. My buddy Mike has a ton of cards and has built a bunch of decks. I've been watching some Learn to Plays, and I decided to buy a few cheap boxes that I can open on stream and potentially make a deck with. I love Ferengi. I think anybody that knows that in my writing, when I'm writing for Star Trek Adventures, that I really try to put a lot of love on the Ferengi. So maybe I can make a Ferengi-based deck. I hear it's not really competitive or anything like that, but I don't care. I just really want to have fun and tell funny stories while playing this game. This box is still... this set, I should say, is still readily available. You can get boxes for like $40, $50. And yeah, I'm going to open one right now. Not a ton of valuable cards in the set. I'm just more looking for cards to build a deck with. The big one is Morn. Morn is like a $15 card. Quark is like a $10 card. And so on and so forth. But no real big hits. They weren't really doing a lot of... Decipher didn't do a lot of foiling back in these days or whatnot. So the box is hilarious. Here's the rules editions that came with the set. The download rules, new roles, phasing cloak. This is new rules, not new rules. Ferengi restrictions, and some specific clarifications on other cards. So yeah, let's see what we get. Let's see if we can get a Morn. Let's see if we can get any of the named Ferengi. I think Lita is in this set too. Lita, I think, has a little bit of value. And let's see what we come up with. So these are 9 card packs. And I don't know where the rare is in these. I don't know if they were really marking rares back there, but we've got, some Gold Press Latinum. What a great way to start a Ferengi set. Nilva, Market Research, Incident. These are a little bit Pringly, which is interesting to find out of the pack. Ooh, Quark's Treasure. That's a fun one. Nice. As someone that has watched just about every Star Trek episode ever, Deep Space Nine is my favorite. Krajensky. All right. Gotta love the VIP. 8 Cunning. That's fun. I wonder if that back card was the rare. We'll know if we can pop any of the named characters or more. So I'm excited to go through and give this game a shot. I know that there's still a pretty active community. Ooh, bribery. Look at that. I mean, you can just tell what's going on there, right? Awesome. Establish a trade route. That makes sense. A patrol ship. Hideki class. That's interesting. Oh, cool. That's a Cardassian. Pathak. Berta. Yes. That's a good one. Right there. A Ferengi bureaucrat. Gotta love that. And how about skill in diplomacy, skill in anthropology, skill in security? Not something you would expect out of a Ferengi. That's great. Negotiations on wine. Marta. I like seeing civilians. That's cool. So yeah, I write for the Star Trek Adventures role-playing game, or have written, I should say. And so whenever I get a chance to talk about Ferengi, I try to get them in there. Just, there's a little shuttle. Cool. Ferengi pad. Look at that. That's cool. One thing that was great about Decipher back in the day is they could use a lot of these just screenshots from the shows and movies. It's only a game, yes. Another Krajensky. And that's what they did with like their Lord of the Rings, this game, the Star Wars game. And really, what was great about all 3 of these games is that they were very different than Magic the Gathering. You didn't just tap cards and attack. ship. And I was pretty excited because I used to play the Star Wars game all the time. Never got into the Star Trek game as a kid. Ooh, we got an upside down card. Kalandra. Another civilian. Gotta love that. Oh, here we go. Jem'Hadar. They are such a cool design. I can't imagine getting all of that prosthesis on. Strength 12. I'd like to see that. And your Jem'Hadar that are present here are strength +1 in battle. Wow. That's awesome. '75th rule of acquisition. I just found that the rules of acquisition were written into a book that I need to definitely purchase and do some research on. But with, as I was saying, with Star Trek Second Edition, Star Trek Adventure Second Edition, we did see that Ferengi are now like a built-in playable species. So I would like to see some more stuff with them in the near future. Just because I think that they're just such a fascinating species that is so very different than our normal, what you normally see. Ooh, a plasma energy burst. Nice. I like the electromagnetic disruption that their ships could do, right? And when the Enterprise first met up with the Ferengi, that was like a big deal. These Decoras are probably like right up there with one of my favorite ships in all of Star Trek. They're just so big and bulky and cool. I really like them. It does have a holodeck. That's not a surprise. Probably costs money to use or gold press latinum to use. Ferengi Outpost. Kronk. Boy, I forgot how many actual Ferengi they've introduced in the series. Between Deep Space Nine and Next Generation. Next Generation, or I should say Deep Space Nine really put a lot more into the lore of the Ferengi, which is something that was pleasantly surprising with the series. We really got to understand more about them. They've got a 21st rule of acquisition. That's great. This looks very similar to last. Ooh, a Starry Night painting. Yes. That's awesome. Center of attention. Yeah, look at that. Everybody pointing their guns at Quark. That's so funny. Morta. There we go. That's cool. I like having those computer skills. So Star Trek, the customizable card game, it had first edition and a second edition. From what I understand, the second edition wasn't as well liked as the first edition, and has some different rules. The community out there, for the most part, are creating new cards for... oh, yes. That's awesome. Are creating new cards for the game that's voted on and added to the collection. Ooh, there's Rom. Rom's like a $5 card, I bet. Which is pretty cool to see in a game that is quote unquote dead. There's still a thriving community playing this game. And I believe that there's a couple of online game apps that you can use that actually have all the cards loaded up, and you can actually play a game of the Star Trek collectible card game on, which is pretty awesome as well. Still no Morn yet. It's kind of who we're looking for. I'm going to continue to grab booster boxes of different sets. I know that I've got the Borg set coming. I've got a Voyager box coming, just so that I can add to my collection and start building up what I can. Ooh, the Sao Paulo. That one might be worth a few bucks. That's awesome. Defiant class. I like seeing that. Yeah, so I'm going to continue to open the boxes on stream. Even though they aren't the most valuable cards, it's still fun for people to see what comes in them and what the cards look like and so on and so forth. Interrupt, object. Ferengi Conference. This probably would be a lot of fun to attend. Tara we've gotten. Gold Press Latinum. Dr. Bortz. Just medical. Love it. Ooh. Ooh, 47th rule of acquisition. Center of attention again. Pell. Man, these, like I said, when you're a card game company, a lot of the initial investment that you have to make is in art. So being able to use shots from the actual show, I kind of like. I think it would be cool to do like sketch variants of this type of stuff for rares and ultra rares or something like that. But I would be perfectly happy to see, the Stargate card game come back with, Universe and Atlantis and all that type of stuff with just screenshots from the show. Or even the Star Trek, the new Star Trek stuff. I would love to see that. Mostly because I think it allows a company to do games in a way that they aren't full. They don't have to invest too much money in the art initially. I do think it's worth paying artists, and I do think seeing Star Wars Unlimited, how the art helps sell a game. But I think if we ever wanted to get some of these dead card games brought back to life, you have to minimize the overhead in order to keep them around and build a community. Luckily, this game sounds like that it already has a pretty thriving community. So that's pretty awesome. Man, I love this. Seeing a Nausicaan. If you haven't played the Star Trek Adventures starter set, which is shipping now, the big antagonist is a Nausicaan. Patrol ship. Oh, teddy bear. There we go. I like seeing a Cardassian splashed in here every now and then. Ferengi bug. I love the idea of the dilemmas, like trying to force your opponent to deal with more crap than they're planning on. I think if you can do that appropriately, you can really ramp up your game plan. Dangerous liaisons. Ferengi outpost. Solak again. Cargo bay. First rule of acquisition. Once you have the money, you never give it back. Love it. Allura. Kazango. Ferengi credit exchange. It's always fun. Runabout search. So what I heard was that the Ferengi definitely feel like Ferengi when you're playing the game. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out. As I'm learning the game, I've actually been watching a couple of Learn to Play videos so that I can get an idea of exactly how to, not be competitive, but to actually sit down and play a full game. Still no Quark yet, still no Lita, still no Morn. Those are the big three that we're looking for. Fingers crossed that they'll show up at some point. I do love that Ferengi shuttle. That's cool. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Cardassians are so cool. They've just been through so much, and they're complete jerks about it. I love, they're very complex species, right? They are, they're evil to the bone, but they're also very passionate. And I think that passion is something that can be played with quite a bit using Star Trek Adventures. Not sure how they play out in this game particularly, but I'll always be happy to see a Cardassian in a pack. Because someday, maybe I'll make a deck around them, Ferengi Disruptor. Cool little piece. There's another Calandra. Ooh, that's cool. This is the bird of prey that Ducat was on. Yep, commandeered near the Cardassian outpost on Korma. That's awesome. I really like that a lot too. I believe. Oh no, that's something else entirely. Never mind. Another Nausicaan. Ferengi energy weapon. They had some pretty powerful attacks, though they didn't attack very often. I did like how they extended the neck of their ship out to show that they have kind of surrendered. Phased cloaking device. There we go. That's awesome. Gotta love a phased cloaking device. Gotta love any cloaking devices, really. Market research. That's funny. That is really funny. And of course, you got the Ferengi symbol down here. Something they can do. Nava. Oh, there's Nog. Look at that. Awesome. Probably like one of the best overall arcs in all of Star Trek is Nog's story. So I'm happy to pull him. That's awesome. Yeah, that's very cool. Of course, his stats are low because he's just a kid, but he grows so much over those seasons of Deep Space Nine as a person. Oh, all these are upside down. First rule. Wow, what the heck is going on here? Back. Tog. Yeah, so Nog, I think if you ask, many people will tell you that he's one of their favorite characters in Deep Space Nine because he did have such an arc that lasted the entire series, essentially, which is cool. Oh, we just got a regular Burrell class. That's good to have. Man, I want the Vorta. I just love to hate them. I wonder, like, how these would look in foil these days with all the new modern foiling styles that we're seeing in Pokemon and in Magic the Gathering. Like, I would love, if you haven't seen the new Magic the Gathering raised mana symbol foils, I would love to see their species logo as like a raised foil on some of their cards. That would look really cool, I bet. And they just keep coming up with new and new foil star. Oh yes, the Scepter of the Grand Nagus. I don't even know what it does, but it is ridiculous and awesome. Your Nagus present may allow these cards to play for free each turn. Wow, that's awesome. That's a really good card. That was the rare. A Staff of the Grand Nagus. And it's a funny shot. I mean, it was such a ridiculous design in the first place. And then when it shows up in lower decks, even more hilarious. So I'm happy to have that. Quark's Treasure. I think this Quark's Treasure is a rare shuttle. That's kind of cool. I don't know how you could tell the rares back in the day. Don't know that you could. A lot of these sets came out before rarity symbols because it was the late 90s, early 2000s, and they just hadn't thought that far ahead. And things have come so far as game design goes. I would love to see something like this show up again. A small cloaking device, that's fun. Just to see how it could be reimagined in a modern design world. Though, admittedly, this game was a bit forward-thinking in its design, right? You were trying to complete missions and get points, and whoever got 100 points first won. So it was kind of cool. Oh, here's a specific Decorder class, the Creighton. That's awesome. Definitely got some ships. Still no Quark. Still no Morn. That's unfortunate. But we do have Nog, and we do have Scepter of the Grand Nagus. Luckily, these boxes are cheap enough. That's cool. That you could continue to open them for relatively low cost, or I could just buy them, buy the singles. I've been using a lot of Card Game Geek lately to look at pricing and whatnot. I know that there are other sites out there as well that deal with quote-unquote dead card games. Continuing Committee. Ooh, a Romulan headquarters. That's cool. Down to 2 cards. I don't think we're going to pull both Morn and Quark, but let's see. We got another Burrell. Marauder. Quark's isolinear rods. Cool. Last one. Let's see if we get anything else. I'm excited to sit down and play this game now. I don't know much about it, but we're going to look and see and learn it. Ooh, a Romulan science ship. That is awesome. The Apnex. Cool. Not Morn or Quark, but we got some cool ships, which I think is part of the fun of the game. We also got Nog, and we got the Scepter of the Grand Nagus, which is awesome. So yeah, so I'll be back with some more boxes that I'm going to be cracking on Rip'em, and maybe eventually I'll go through some deck techs once I start learning the game and starting to build some decks. That's all I have for right now. Take care.